It's been a long time since I've made an update video on this channel, and I figured it was probably past time. Last year, I made a Starboost suit, which was a blast, and that required a new printer. My wife actually talked me into going ahead and buying a Bamboo Labs P1S, and I'm glad I did that because I would not have been able to complete the suit in time using my old artillery sidewinder. I know for one of the parts in particular, the sidewinder printed it at an okay resolution. It was still a little rough around the edges in 14 hours, and the Bamboo Lab printed the mirror image part in 4 hours. I was on a crunch. I wanted to have the suit ready for Halloween of 2024, and I completed it in about 40 days after my first print. As far as the wrist or the forearm rockets go, the last update video I have is the last full project or full update on that. I have been working incrementally on it, but I haven't made a huge breakthrough or a huge new redesign of the arm since then. I have been working on some smaller updates where I'm trying to make a main rocket that will lift up and then extend outwards, similar to what's seen in the movie. But there's been a lot of redesign and iteration on that. A lot of trying to get gears to work right at the scale, getting the motion right, the torques right, and I've just had a few setbacks on that. Also related into that is trying to design everything for reliability and upgradability and repairability. One of my design principles that I've kept with is that I don't want the suit to ever get into a state where something breaks and I can't fix it, or it's a huge pain to fix it. That is kind of the nightmare scenario, because I know the harder it is to fix the suit, the less likely it is I'm going to wear it. Or when it comes to the servos on the rockets, I've noticed that not all of the servos are calibrated the same way, which is to say that not all of them share a up and down 0 or 90 or 180, range of motion varies, all of those things. Which means if I want to code a limited range of motion into the hardware or into the software, anytime a servo burnt out or I needed to replace one on the fly or something like that, it would require me to dial in the settings on that particular servo, which is a bit of a pain. It requires basically a completely separate UI built into the product to calibrate everything, and that's not quite feasible for maintainability and ease of use. I think with some of the gear designs I'm going for, I might be able to make it so that I can have more software tolerance by having the hardware pick up the slack. For the lift rocket, I'm using a gear that can have a little bit of free spinning action before it actually engages the rack and pinions that lift it up. And on the smaller mini rockets, I'm experimenting with the idea of putting a partial Geneva mechanism in there so that the gear can, or the servo arm can spin a little bit past the range of motion it needs to, a little bit past the 90 degrees, and the gear will still turn, or the lift will still turn the appropriate amount. I can turn off the servo and still have it maintain position, but there's some hiccups and issues to fix with all of that. Other suit considerations, I was originally holding the chest plate up with magnets. That went terribly. They kept falling off, they kept detaching, and I had one or two instances where the backpack would fall to the ground or the chest plate would fall off, and it just was a nightmare. So instead of keeping with magnets, I went to a latch system where when I shove the chest plate together, it does not come off. I have jumped around in my tests to make sure it holds and it stays in place, and it is fantastic. It is so much better than trying to rely on magnets for that. So I will apply those lessons going forward to the next suit, and apply it to the forearm. That I don't think I can keep the forearm together using just magnets. It doesn't feel right. I'm going to have to design a latch system that will work and be removable. The arms, I've actually hit on something that's pretty good. I've gotten some articulated elbow armor. It's somewhat inspired by, I believe, 15th century compression armor, where it just is a bunch of thin metal plates that would overlap. I don't have a good way to metal work, and so what I did is I tried to design overlapping 3D printed plates that maintain enough of a gap that I can spray paint them, but they'll never scratch on each other. They hit the bottom and they'll keep that perfect gap so that they never scratch. I can get with the current design that I have, I get about 90 degrees of rotation. So my arms can't really get any closer to this, which means I can't manipulate my head. But it's still pretty good. I like the visuals of it. I have tried to reinvent it to try and refine it a little bit to get more range of motion. And I've gotten some mixed success on that, but it still needs some more experimentation. I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but I have moved 2 times since my last update video on here. But that's not to say that these have been the only update videos. I have a bunch of updates, including every day working on the Starboost helmet, up on my TikTok channel. And I've been vastly more up to date on there. Even if progress has been slow on this Iron Man suit, it has been going. And I don't think that'll stop anytime soon, but it will slow down in periods. Speaking of phases that I go through, I'm currently at the cusp of a Minecraft phase, and it's lasted longer than 2 weeks, I'm afraid. So there's a decent chance I will be uploading some videos related to that here soon, or videos related to any other projects that I work on and tackle. It's not the end of the project. It's not me giving up. It's not me moving on. I'm still going to upload my Iron Man stuff here. It's just I really don't want to maintain multiple channels for what's just me sharing what I do and what I care about. So who knows if that'll actually take off or if it'll just be 1 or 2 attempts. But if you see something different on the channel, it's okay. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. I hope to continue improving on everything and making it even better. And thanks for sticking it out and being patient with me. See you around.